Hello, this is Silas. The following is going to be some clips and some of my thoughts on the Act for America March Against Sharia June 10th protests in New York City. So I attended those, and it's going to be just some clips that I recorded about my thoughts while it was going on. Then I'm going to have some clips of the actual speeches that went on, and intersperse that with photos and things like that. But I'm just going to give you some of my thoughts off the break. Off the break, let me mention there were some oath keepers there, and there was one gentleman that you'll see in the clips following that I think suffered from heat stroke. It was in the 80 degrees. If it's the guy I think that was giving the speech, he was actually one of the head of the oath keepers, and this is just a group of ex-military, ex-firefighters, I think ex-police, who kind of they come together and the oath they're trying to keep, I think, is the First Amendment oath, and they were there to provide extra security on top of what the NYPD was providing at this event. And I think the gentleman, while he was speaking, was coughing, and you'll see that in some of the clips possibly. And then towards the end of the last speaker's speech, he collapsed, and there was just really there was a really awkward moment there where people were flooding to him to check what was happening. We don't know exactly why he had fallen, and then people started clearing to give him room. Paramedics started coming, but it was right on top. It was to the right of where the stage was, and then the speaker continued speaking after a while. Some people had given some more space, but they were holding up the different flags to shade him as the paramedics took care of him, and then there was this during the speech. They decided let's keep talking, let's keep people focused on what was going on and not there. And I'm standing there in the crowd and I'm recording at the same time, trying to record what was happening, but also you can see in the film the guys on the side fighting for his life, and then a reporter, I think some lady reporter or photographer said objected to why the speech was continuing. The people with the speech who were running the speech were saying we're keeping them focused on this, so they're not focusing on that. And then somebody else came in and started saying, look, that guy's fighting for his life. This guy is speaking for our lives. And that's what had me thinking. That's what I wanted to give you guys just before we get into this. Just why are people here? What do people do? What gets people to come out here? You know, you see the people who are just tourists just walking by. Even one of my friends actually came by. She's more politically active. She came by, but she was with some family that was visiting, and they were just tourists, and they had an entirely different opinion on what was going on. And I'm wondering, okay, why are the anti-protesters there? Why are the protesters there? Why am I there in that heat recording this? I mean, part of that is to get this information out to you so you guys can see this and also decide on that material. Then seeing the reporters there and seeing. Anyway, let me get into the video. I'm going to come back at the end of the video and give some more thoughts on it, and some might be interspersed into it. But let's jump right into it.
Okay, I'm here at Foley Square, or Brooklyn Bridge City Hall station. That's NYC City Hall. I'm here for the March Against Sharia talk. And you can see there's an Antifa group here, I guess. Some of them refuse fascism shirts, and the guy's telling them that they're standing around, going to stop these evil people from meeting. And they're equating it to that thing that happened in, I think, the train. I think that was in Portland, where it was equated to be a Trump supporter, but it turned out to be a Bernie Sanders supporter who stabbed two people who were trying to intervene when he was, I guess, insulting a Muslim couple or two Muslim ladies on the train. So it's just a conflation between those two things. So I'm just here, as I did at the Linda Sarsour thing. I'm going to just record and see what exactly they say and see what happens. Yeah. Okay. So I got to the Linda Sarsour March earlier as well. You can see here at Foley Square some protesters over there. I'll go check out and see what they're doing. With some people coming in. There was a couple over there. There's two people walking over there. They were talking about they'd been to a few other marches. So that's one thing I've noticed with these kind of events. It tends to be the same group of people who decide to show up. I guess who have the time or who are activated enough to want to attend these kind of things. So yeah, you can see these are people saying fascists out. There's a police presence already. I might pause on some of these signs. But still, yeah, let's see. I mean, there have signs about fascists and things like that. Obama deported 5 million, paved the way for Trump. So you see, some of these people are not necessarily just anti-Trump, they're just against some of the general policies. But yeah, let's see. Let's see if what these people's signs match what goes on at the actual march, actual event. Okay, you can see your favorite neighborhood ornery Antifa here. Apparently the chant is black, white, every race, punch a Nazi in the face. Okay, on this side you can see the Kyrgyzstan flag, which is a troll flag that was invented on 4chan. And then on this side, I guess some Antifa people, by all means party. You can also, I don't know, also as you can see over here, some cultural appropriation of vuvuzelas. That was a thing that came up in the South African World Cup. But culturally appropriate away, people. Okay, as you can hear in the background, there's whistles going off, vuvuzelas and things like that. But they at least have signs saying no platform. So it's getting to the point where they're at least not even lying anymore. They don't seem to want the conversation. Writing down some of the signs is trying to make sense of it, like the Muslim Lives Matter and the Muslims welcome racists out. So you see these people come to just have a speech, have people talk. And then you have a group of people come out and just blow vuvuzelas, whistles, make noise, drums. Is it a situation where you're actually trying to get people to understand what you mean, or you're just kind of having a tantrum? So when it comes to a situation like that, I mean, it's up to you to decide what's going on, but this is likely going to be in the background of the entire video I record today, just giving a heads up on that and just some initial thoughts. There we have it, Muslim, Jewish, anti-fascist front. And now that group that I saw earlier has now come to join the rest of the group. And as you can see right now, there's more people on that side than there are on the side for the march. And the march, you can see, is a little late to start. But they've been blowing the vuvuzelas, banging things, chanting, blowing whistles. So they're kind of right now, they're just drowning themselves out. But it might just be part of the no platform, as I said before. Not really looking to converse, just to be seen and heard, I guess. Or seen and heard, making noise. It's literally just wailing now. It's awesome. I mean, this is the kind of stuff you need to see. What else do you say? This is the kind of stuff I want you to just see, and you make up your mind.
Okay, that was the start. That was a couple of clips. Now we're going to get into the actual program, the actual March Against Sharia thing. They opened up with a Pledge of Allegiance and a rock rendition of the Star-Spangled Banner, which is the national anthem of the United States of America. And you saw that it was interesting to see the difference between the people who are in the ACT event, who are showing pride in being American, and then you have the vuvuzelas and the noise and the whistling continuing with the anti-protesters on the other side. Also, shall point out again, the gentleman who's introducing the national anthem, I think is Frank Morgenthaler, who I think is the man who had the stroke or the heat stroke later on. So thoughts are with him, of course. He seemed like a really great guy, and he decided to come out here and support, or whoever it was decided to come out here and support. And it's very unfortunate that they had that happen to them while this was going on. Okay, back to the speeches.
Well done. Nothing will ever overtake that. And now, to honor America, we would play the national anthem, and we would ask that you all sing along. Today, we will play the Madison Rising version of the anthem. The group Madison Rising is from the New York City area, and they're known as America's most patriotic rock band. The band's played at many Liberty events over the years and is very supportive of our troops and veterans. Accordingly, we thought it fitting to play their version of the national anthem today here at our Liberty event.
Into the speeches now. The first one is by Packy Heart, who was the organizer of this event. I'm going to split this video up into two parts due to the number of speakers and also the way I'm putting a lot of different opinions and ideas into the videos. On to Pax.
We are not anarchist brats who lash out at our fellow citizens and hide our faces to avoid the consequences. Did you see the ones in Portland last week? They showed up in Portland at a free speech rally. They raised hell. They got violent. They beat people. And then they got corralled and tagged by the cops and all of their weapons confiscated. That's exactly what we want to see. Before we get started, let's thank the NYPD. Yes! Blue lives matter! 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 You know, we contacted them right at the very beginning when we decided to do this because we knew what kind of opposition we were going to get. But we knew we were going to have these crazy loons over here raising hell, beating their pots and pans, and that's cool. So we're having rallies in 28 cities across the U.S. today. So this is all being organized by Bridget Gabrielle's Act for America. She's fantastic. Bridget is fantastic. She calls it exactly like she sees it. She is a Lebanese-born patriot. She's with the United States. And she's been calling out radical Islam and Sharia is longer than anybody else. She's fantastic. They actually had to shut down the rally that they had planned for Portland, Oregon, because the mayor of Portland was, he was saying that we were this white supremacist, Christian supremacist hate group. I mean, it was insane. It was disgusting. So he turned up the rhetoric so high that they had to move the Portland event to Seattle. But so anyway, they're going to be in 28 cities around the U.S. today. The support we've received is overwhelming. After Manchester, after the attack that occurred in Manchester, and then again on the London Bridge, everybody just flooded to us. They said, why are we not having one of these in our own city? We're sick of seeing this. We've been told for 8 years, every time there is a terror attack, no, this has nothing to do with Islam. This has, there are plenty of moderate Muslims, and this has nothing to do with Islam, and you have to just shut up. And it's really your Islamophobia. That's the real problem going on here. So the reason that we're here today is say, fuck you. We see exactly what's going on. We are going to talk about it. We are going to talk about it publicly. If these assholes get a voice in the public forum to talk about exactly what's going on and to criticize us, well, guess what? We are Americans too. We get to meet in the public forum. We get to talk about our concerns. We get to talk about our love for our country. And that's fine. So, we've got somebody right here. We have a production manager from Proud Boy magazine. So Paul is a filmmaker. He's the production director for Proud Boy magazine. And he is going to come up here and regale you with some of his fancy talking.
First things first, give it up for Pax. Thank you, brother, thank you. He organized this whole thing today. He did an unbelievable job. So I'd like to start off by saying, I am a Western chauvinist who refuses to apologize for creating the modern world. This is awesome because we actually get basically the live version of the internet. This is the internet in real life. They're giving us thumbs down on Facebook right now. Everyone's chiming in with their little comments. People are giving thumbs up and thumbs down. But here's the thing, we get to look at them today. Isn't that awesome? Everyone was worried about coming here today. I talked to a lot of people who said, I support you, but we're worried about coming because you're talking against Sharia. And if you're talking against Sharia, who knows if there might be an attack? And isn't that the elephant in the living room right now? I'm standing right here with Oath Keepers, with Proud Boys, with Red Elephants, with the NYPD, and just regular American citizens in New York City. I've never felt safer in my goddamn life. There's a place in upstate New York right now. It's called Islamabad. Has anyone heard of this place? You've heard of it? Good. A month from now, the Bikers for Trump, the Bikers Against Jihad, the Oath Keepers, the Red Elephants, and the Proud Boys will be showing up at this camp. What they do there is they have women march with guns and burqas. They have military-age young men training for something, for some reason. In America, what could it possibly be? And we're going to show up there, too, to looking through that fence and say, we see you! We see you, and you're not getting away with shit, not on our watch. We know what Sharia law is. We understand what Sharia law is. We know what Islam is. We understand what Islam is, and we say no. No! It's just as valid of an answer as yes. I'm bringing up somebody who did undercover work for Project Veritas, somebody who works for Rebel Media right now. The true Jewish question. Yeah. The yellow menace herself, Laura Loomer.
Thank you for having me. I just need to get situated really quick. I have a woman, any woman who wants to come up here and be my volunteer really quick, hold a sign for me. Today we're going to talk about why it's an oxymoron to call yourself an Islamic feminist, because there is no such thing as an Islamic feminist. And they talk about how, the patriarchy is oppressing them. But then you look at their posters and the representation of the Women's March is a woman in a burqa. A textbook definition of feminism would be the advocacy of women's rights on the basis of the equality of all sexes.
Okay, since I'm clearly a cis, hetero, privileged male, mention of feminism made me have to stop the video. And to say that it was rather interesting to have somebody come up and give the definition of feminism is X argument when they're on the right. Because this is often done on the left, and she mentions that later on in the video. But I personally have certain opinions about feminism and egalitarianism that you might have heard before, where I think it's not quite handled in the appropriate way, even if it's possible, even if it's preferable. But in the West, as she will say, yeah, men and women are treated relatively equal before the law. So excuse that, back to Laura.
The left has made feminism a key component of their political platform, and liberals everywhere have labeled themselves as feminists in a quest to propagate their agenda. What was once a possibly respected ideology has now become a warped weapon of the social justice warrior movement that serves to elevate women while destroying the patriarchy or everything feminists deem evil. Women in the West are viewed as being equal to men, both ontologically and judicially. While women in the West have faced discrimination and inequality in the past, the West still remains the best place in the modern world for any modern liberated woman to live. I mean, the West is the best. And if you're talking about women's rights and equality for women and children, there's no other place than the West. Why have the same individuals who call themselves feminists on the left align themselves with Islam? Why have women's movements across Western societies chosen to make Islam and Sharia law proponents front and center at their rallies? Why do these women choose to ignore and reinterpret what the Quran means when it says, and I quote directly from the Quran, verse 2:228, men are superior to women? Doesn't that very statement, which is the foundation of Sharia law, serve to completely undermine the feminist movement and what the Western world stands for?
So, still here at the march. They had the first couple of speakers. Now they're taking a little break. There's a bunch of people now. Well, the turnout, I think, is about the same amount of people on this side as the other side. Although I don't know how many of the people on this side were just actually filming. As you can see, there's still a lot of space for people to come. Temperature is better than it was last time, but still very few people. Comparatively, I mean, the space isn't full. But it's been interesting speeches so far. You're gonna have the clips playing over there, and then some more thoughts after. I'm gonna hang out until after. Massive American flag back there. There was a flag. They had the Antifa flag, and then somebody had like an anti-communist action with a helicopter. Right? I think that was a favorite sign or flag I've seen today. But yeah, so get back to it.
So winding this down, this is going to be the end of part one. I'm going to divide this into two parts. It worked pretty well with the May Day video that way. And since there's a lot of different things in this, don't want to overload it in one. As you've seen so far, the people came out and gave some speeches. I think some of the speakers that were supposed to be there weren't there, so some people came up and pinched hit for the Act for America, and I think they did a pretty decent job. With Paul, I had met him before at a couple of different occasions. I know there was a lot more curse words and things like that in some of these speeches, but the full speeches are going to be on the Trump Train to Magaland project on that page, links in the low bar. But part 2 will be coming soon. Check that out, and hope you enjoyed it. Like, share, and subscribe. Bye.